Alright everyone, welcome to the By the Minute Mixed Martial Arts Show. We're doing the post show for Invicta FC 22 that has just wrapped up. Hi, I'm Jody Jamieson of ByTheMinute.co. If you're wondering why the hell I'm wearing a shirt, it's been a long day. It was my old boy's 60th today, so we had all that to do. Was down seeing him for that. Got back about half an hour before Invicta started. If you have not watched Invicta yet and you've stumbled across this and you don't want any spoilers, you have, I'd say, about 30 seconds to log off or go do something else, alright? Like I said, really good card tonight. I would recommend, if you are not a UFC Fight Pass subscriber, I would recommend going and signing up right now for your 7-day trial and going and watching this card. There was 7 fights on this card, 6 of them delivered. There was one that wasn't great, but these things happen, so we'll worry about that. It is currently 4:26 a.m. here. It is, the clocks have gone forward, so it feels like 3:26, but it's still late, so we'll see how this goes. So spoilers coming in 5 seconds. We will talk for the main event and we'll work our way down. So in the main event, I don't care how you want to classify it, we will talk as it is official. Tonya Evinger retained the Invicta Bantamweight Championship of the world. She defeated Yana Kunitskaya by rear naked choke. She did it towards the end of the second round in 4:32. What was very interesting about this fight was the start almost mirrored pretty much what we saw in the first fight. Tonya Evinger was able to catch a kick early, take her down off the kick with a single leg, and Kunitskaya from the bottom was just shooting submission after submission after submission. The first one that she shot for this time was actually a guillotine, and this was probably the closest Kunitskaya got all night to getting a submission. For me, it looked kind of tight, but Kunitskaya's back was up against the cage, so if it wasn't going to work, then she was really going to have to somehow push Evinger towards the centre and then bring it down to really get it finished. Evinger was able to get her head out. Kunitskaya from the bottom shot for arm bars, she shot for knee bars, a little bit of stuff. And what that did most effectively, especially when she was shooting for the knee bars, was that she wasn't particularly close to finishing the fight with any of them, but what I was able to do was kind of nullify a lot of what makes Tonya Evinger's top game really effective. When Tonya Evinger gets on top, whether it's half guard, full mount, whatever, she can get off a lot of ground and pound. Kunitskaya was able to keep very, very busy from her back and nullify a lot of that, so that was quite impressive. But when Tonya Evinger was able to get on top, her ground and pound was pretty severe, and I thought it was enough to give Tonya the first round. Second round we saw a lot of the same, but this time towards the finish, Evinger was starting to take over just a little bit. Kunitskaya again shot for a guillotine, this time from the base, but Evinger had good wrist control, was able to fight that off pretty good. And then the finish, Evinger goes for the rear naked choke. She's only able to get one hook in at the time, but what she does well, she grabs the neck. Instead of panicking to get the second hook, she's patient. She holds Kunitskaya there, grabs the neck, comes over the back, brings in the second hook, and then is able to finish the fight from there. 4:32 of the second round. Tonya Evinger, to me, I don't know whether this is going to happen or not. I don't really expect it anymore, but Evinger to me has to be signed to UFC. It's been far too long. I genuinely believe that Tonya is a top 5 bantamweight in the world, and I think she's 35, maybe 36 right now. The time was a year or two ago. She's beaten girls like Irene Aldana in the past, who's in UFC, and for me, I think it's kind of disappointing that she's not there at the moment. I hope that's going to happen at some point soon. I do hope her next fight comes in UFC, but we will see how that goes. I don't particularly expect it, but we'll see what happens. Kunitskaya, for me, she's known as a kickboxer, but her active ground game is going to suit her very well in Invicta. I'm looking forward to seeing her getting a few more fights under her belt. She's still 27, a lot of time to get better. Co-main event, we had the former strawweight champion Livia Renata Souza against the current atomweight champion Ayaka Hamasaki. Ayaka Hamasaki moving up to strawweight. I assume, and I know Hamasaki's fought at strawweight before, but I assume this fight in her mind was to move up to strawweight and give her an opportunity to either A, beat a top strawweight in Invicta and put herself forward for either signing to UFC, who I don't think are going to bring in an atomweight division anytime soon, or put herself in line to fight whoever is going to be defending the Invicta strawweight title. Angela Hill's the current champion. She's in UFC at the moment, so we don't know what's going to happen there. In the end, this was Souza's fight. Unbelievable performance. Ayaka never really got out of the blocks here. The big story coming out of this fight was really just the ref stoppage. Souza's caught her with a nice short right. Hamasaki's gone down. This is at, let me check the time, 141 of the first round. Now, this is I think good refereeing 101 when you look at this, because there's a difference between defending and intelligently defending. Hamasaki takes the right hand, she curls into a ball, she's got her hands here. She is defending, but she's not intelligently defending, she's not moving. Souza's able to land probably about 7 or 8 ground and pound shots from there. It was kind of worrying. I mean, if I was doing the live feed on By the Minute, if you check it, there was my concern initially was for Hamasaki, because she took far more shots than she really should have. Mike England was the referee. If you remember back to Invicta 20, Mike England was the referee in the centre of the Evinger Kunitskaya 1 controversy. So these things kind of have a way of happening again, although we did see that Mike England was not made referee for the main event, which I think was always going to happen. By the sounds of it, Ayaka's okay. She took a bit more than she should have. Souza, to me, she's got to fight for the strawweight title in Invicta next. If her next fight is in Invicta, I know that can always become a theme with the top 2 or 3 fights at an Invicta card. But for me, Souza's either got to go to UFC after this fight, or she has to fight for the strawweight title. I don't think Angela Hill's going to be back, but if you're creating an interim champion, or Angela Hill just drops the belt, this is where we've got to go. We've got to go towards Livia Renata Souza getting her chance again. She lost the belt by split decision, so something that needs to happen. Jody Esquibel defeated Deanna Bennett by split decision. This was 2 29-28 and a 28-29. This was the worst fight on the card in that it wasn't as exciting as a lot of the other stuff we saw. For me, the first round, I thought Deanna Bennett won the first round. I thought that Esquibel started not bad, but this was very, very cagey. They went to the ground, and this was where Bennett was able to grab an armbar. And to me, I was amazed that Esquibel survived this. To be honest, her arm was very, very badly hyperextended. Bennett was trying at times to roll her over onto her stomach, belly down for the armbar. Wasn't quite able to get it, but amazed that Esquibel was able to survive this. So clear first round for Bennett. Second and third round, I didn't think Bennett did enough, to be honest. I thought Esquibel, her game plan was really simple in the second or third round, but I didn't feel like Bennett made any sort of adjustment. I felt that Esquibel would, as the commentators put it, dart in and dart out. When she darted in, she would land 1 shot, maybe 2, and dart straight back out. And Bennett never really made an adjustment. Her feet were a little flat in the third round. They were starting to get flat towards the end of the second round, and in the third round they were very flat, which was allowing Esquibel just to quickly, because she was constantly circling, her movement was good, she was able to just come in, 1 shot, come in, 1, 2, back out. And it was really simple, and Bennett just never adjusted to it, to be honest. I'm not saying I was totally surprised at a 29-28 for Bennett in this. I don't think that was a disgrace of a scorecard by any means, but I thought that the right person won. It's worth noting that Deanna Bennett missed weight for this. I think she weighed 117.6 for a strawweight bout. It's not as bad as another couple on this card, but yeah, so that was that. Not a great fight, to be honest. Before that, Ashley Cummings defeated Amber Brown 30-27, 29-28, 29-28. The first round was one of the weirdest rounds I've seen in a while. We were this was almost exclusively a round that took place on the ground, and it seemed like top position was a curse. We saw Cummings with a triangle. We saw an inverted triangle from Amber Brown. It was just a bit of everything going on in this round. I gave it to Amber Brown, but I had no confidence scoring that round, to be honest. So we saw what we saw. Cummings after that just completely took control. I thought she looked fantastic in the second and third round. She made one very bad technique mistake, I think, in the second round. Let me check. Yeah, second round. She had an arm triangle. She first shot for the arm triangle and just wasn't able to pass from side control across. And then she tried for it again. This time she got into full mount. She got over to the to the side that she needs to be on for the arm triangle, but from there she didn't do. She almost panicked that she wasn't able to get the tap immediately. What you saw Amber do quite nicely, and it's very, very hard to explain if you've never seen it, but what Amber was able to do was she was able to get both her hands underneath her leg and pull up, and that gives her enough leverage just to free her shoulder a little bit to stop the pressure. But what Ashley did wrong here was that she decided to try and close that by going even further, and by going even further across past the side control point, that was always going to lose the hold. So that was a little bit of a mistake she made. I actually did give her a 10-8 in the second round. I kind of knew none of the judges were going to, but I thought it was good enough for a 10-8. Third round, a bit more of the same. Cummins on top, a lot in side control. She almost got a rear naked choke towards the end of the third round. Wasn't able to get the top hand behind the head, but good performance. Like I say, I had 29-27 because I gave Amber the first round, but I'm not going to argue that there wasn't any 10-8s in this one. We had Suna Davidsdottir before that defeating Mallory Martin 30-27, 29-28, 29-28. Excuse me a second. Now, just to talk about the scorecards for me, 30-27. I thought Suna won this fight, but I thought 30-27 was a shambles. There was no way, on no planet could I give Suna the second round. Hold on. Yeah, I couldn't give Suna the second round. I thought Suna looked fabulous in the first round. I thought she was brilliant. There was, again, almost a possibility of arguing for a 10-8 in the first round, but it wasn't really dominant enough. But she dominated every facet of the game. Striking, groundwork, clinch. Suna was on top. But what you noticed at the end of the first round, and I put it on the feed at the time, Suna was looking very tired at the end of the first round, and she was going to have to gut this out to take another round. For me, second round was all Mallory Martin. I've no idea how a judge scored this for Suna. Mallory Martin, she had a takedown in the round. She rocked her once with a left hand. The second time, at first, I thought it was more of a stumble, but when you saw the replay, it was pretty clear that Suna had been rocked with the second one as well. I don't know on what planet you give Suna that round. Third round was close, but I thought Suna did enough. This was a fabulous fight, to be honest. Go and check this one out. Davidsdottir, to me, really, really good prospect. She's 31, so I know people don't like to talk about prospects being 31, but her first two pro fights, I would like to see her get a finish at some point, but her striking looks really, really good. Her stance is really good. Her stance is really solid, but her feet are good at the same time. She's able to move backwards and forwards. She really, really impresses me, and my only disappointment for Suna is she doesn't have a finish yet in her first two fights, but she's got a future. Another person who absolutely has a future, and I know part of this will be kind of downplayed because she missed weight, and she missed weight badly. Miranda Maverick defeated Cal Holiday. This was a tremendous, tremendous performance. Now, Miranda Maverick weighed in just over 120 pounds. I'm pretty confident when she won her first fight in Invicta, I'm pretty confident she made the weight. I never went back and checked, but I don't remember there being any issue. She missed by about 5 pounds this time, so that's not a good look. But she was brilliant in this fight. Now, Cal Holiday was able to get a slam into side control, but Miranda Maverick's game is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and that's where she excels. So taking her down was always going to be taking her into Maverick's world. And Maverick was very quickly able to pull half guard, pull full guard, and from there it was, I'm not going to say a matter of time, but she looked very comfortable off her back. So she grabbed the arm, she tried to set up a triangle first, and then she grabbed the arm off that. Cal picked her up and slammed her back down, but what Miranda was able to do from there was keep a hold of the arm, roll over onto her front, belly down, boom, submission. 3-0-1 of the first round, really good performance. 2-0. I was disappointed this fight got booked. I know that's going to sound a little bit strange, but after Cal Holiday beat Tiffany Van Soest in her pro debut, and then the way Miranda Maverick looked, I kind of didn't want one of these fighters to go to 1-1. I would have really liked to have seen a situation where these girls get to 3-0, say, and then get matched up together, but it happened. Miranda Maverick, brilliant. I still think there's a good future for Cal Holiday in Invicta. We'll see what happens going on. Miranda Maverick's 19 years old, and to be that skilled at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, she's not Mackenzie Dern or anything like that, but a 19-year-old, she's got high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and if she gets another couple of wins under her belt, UFC will come calling for her pretty soon. The opening fight, Felicia Spencer defeated Madison McElhaney. This was 30-27, 30-27, 29-28. This was, the first 3 fights of the card were 1-0 versus 1-0. And this was the one fight out of them that inexperience really ruled this fight, to be honest. This was one where it was a really fun fight to watch. I'd recommend going back and watching it. But you knew this was inexperienced girls fighting. So for me, I thought Spencer was more active. Her kicks were coming in at different ranges. I was really impressed with her ability. What she did kind of wrong in the first round, but she corrected it as she went on. Everything she did in the first round was a single shot, whereas Madison McElhaney, what she did wrong offensively in the first round was she was coming forward with combos, but it was literally straight left, straight right, straight left, straight right. It was like something. It looked like a kind of button bash if you were playing UFC 2 on the PlayStation a little bit. But to me, the big thing that stuck out was once these girls got a little tired, and this is always the case with inexperienced mixed martial artists, offense comes on much faster than defense, and that was what you saw in the second and third round. Now, I'd recommend going and watching this fight. I don't know what to expect from Madison McElhaney going forward. I like the look of Felicia Spencer, but when you think about it, it's always hard to tell at this point, but nothing about either of these girls jumped out as big prospects, and this was a featherweight fight, and featherweight needs prospects. But you got to give them a chance, you know. Spencer's now 2-0, Madison McElhaney 1-1. We'll see what happens going forward. So, good night. This really good. Like I say, go on to UFC.tv, check out this card. You're going to want to see it. If you skip Deanna Bennett and Jody Esquivel, I won't hate you. But really good night of fights. What time is it just now? It is 4:42 a.m. It's ridiculous. Just a quick heads up, tomorrow afternoon we're going to have Arnold Allen on the show, fresh off his win at UFC London. If you have anything you would like me to ask Arnold Allen, you've got probably about 11 hours to tweet me at Jody Jamieson. Let me know anything you need to know. I thought Arnold looked really good at UFC London last week. Beat Makwan Amirkhani. There was no fight of the night given at UFC London. There was 4 performance bonuses, but you could definitely make a strong argument for this being fight of the night. I'm going to need to go back and read my report before I talk to him just to double check. I think I gave Makwan round 1. I think I gave Arnold Allen round 2 and 3. But I will double check that before I chat to him. But yeah, keep an eye on the YouTube channel. As always, I'm going to beg you to subscribe at the bottom. Let's try and grow this a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to bed. So thank you for watching. We will be back in about 12 hours with Arnold Allen. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you stick around for our chat with Arnold Allen tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Get some sleep.